Well, thank you very much for the roundup here on earnings. I absolutely love it. And as we segue over to Queen's Court, I came prepared. I had a trade for you. I was all set. And then you start showing me earnings. And then you bring up Dick's Sporting Goods. And I'm like, now I have to adjust my play. So now I'm gonna put this decision making on you because I came in all set. And now I gotta switch and put it
You
on
were
you.
you were ready to rock and roll, and then I threw some
Uh,
I threw some cold water on
yep.
it somewhere, and now you're like, ooh, but now it's Matt's responsibility for my trading decisions. Okay,
Fix
let's
it,
go.
man.
Let's go. Let's
So this
fix.
is
What am I doing?
this is Queen's Court. As you guys know, every Tuesday I come in and I bring in a trade idea, a thought, a question, whatever it might be to Matt, and then we have a discussion about it. Have like a little mini coaching session, if you will, a mentorship session, and then he'll either validate my decision or he'll kind of talk me out of it. So here we go. As we are heading into the Thanksgiving holiday, my right voice, we always have the two voices, one on the left
Mm-hmm.
shoulder, one on the right shoulder. My right shoulder voice had it all set. We're gonna go Theta because Coach Gino talks about this all the time. Theta giving, throw on a naked put, a covered call, some credit play, and just go enjoy your turkey and gobble gobble, right? So I was set. Give me Discover, DFS.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I was looking at Discover earlier today a little bit.
Now we've played this before, probably about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. We played a couple call on this, and you know me, if it ain't broke, you don't have to worry about it, right? So I was just gonna do the same exact thing here with DFS. Simple covered call here, some sort of credit play, and just call it a day and keep it moving with DFS. And then
Okay.
the left shoulder, me, the other voice on the left shoulder, sees
So
Sporting Good.
the way you're telling this story, it's kind of like the right shoulder is the good devil, the
Yes,
angel, right? The
the
right shoulder.
angel.
So,
Yes.
so you're putting Delta traders into the devil category?
Well, I mean, for me, for how I
Oh,
trade, because I'm
offended,
Theta
offended.
first,
Actually,
right?
I'm kidding.
So,
I'm kidding.
but yeah, because
Yes, I would do the same thing.
the Delta side is a devilish side of me. So this is
It
just
is. It
on
is. The
Emily's
Delta
personality. So
side is the greedy side. The cash flow
it's
side is
the
the
greedy side
consistent.
of me.
Yes.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw DKS, and I'll go back to DKS, right? The Delta side of me went, ooh, that
Okay.
breakout looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got the two voices. When I came to the show, I had one voice and I was set. Now I've got the two voices. I've got the DKS shoulder and the DFS shoulder. It's on you to fix it now.
Okay. Okay.
If you had to pick
Okay.
one, if you
I,
had to pick
I,
one, DFS or DKS.
I'm still on your analogy of the devil is theta and or no, the devil is
Yeah,
delta
Delta.
and theta is the angel. Like I'm still stuck on that.
Well, I mean,
But then I'm
Delta,
thinking about
double.
like the devil is the greed side, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
the devil says I want to retire in the next 365 days, whereas the
Uh-huh.
theta side says I want to compound gains for the next 20 years
Yeah.
and give a legacy to whatever I want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Okay, so theta, you're looking at theta on Discover, and you're looking at delta now on the right shoulder breakout on Dix.
Uh-huh.
Okay. First and foremost, there's room in a portfolio for both. Okay, that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm never going to discount theta giving. Coach Gino's taught me way too well. I'm never going to speak against stacking theta on Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
Because even though it doesn't necessarily work identically to this,
Yep.
you still have 3 days where the market is completely closed and a fourth day where the market is open half the day, but most times discounting last year's headlines. most of the time we don't see a lot of movement on the Friday following Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And so I'm never going to throw cold water on theta because stacking theta in Thanksgiving is one of the hallmarks of what made Coach Gino. And his theta experience has certainly influenced all of us. And one of the powers of theta, at least when I accepted the power of theta, and this was like 5 years into when I first started trading, It was Coach Gino telling me the story of theta giving.
Mm.
And theta giving basically was his way of teaching people the concept of stacking theta and how theta works in terms of the cash flow and the time decay. And, even though, again, a lot of this is efficient from a pricing perspective, it's a mentality as much as it is anything else in stacking theta. I took his stacking theta conversation a couple of years later to teach people how to do what's called theta targeting,
Mm-hmm.
where you basically sell enough options to target your cash flow goals on a monthly basis. And I would design portfolios around people's individual goals of what they wanted to achieve on a monthly, yearly basis, and we would design that based on theta. And so I'm never going to throw cold water on theta or theta giving, because one of the things that I'm going to be grateful for this Thursday is theta giving. And
Mm-hmm.
so theta is always going to be an important cog in any trader's portfolio, because it allows them to sell options, bring in cash flow when they don't have a directional edge in the marketplace. And then you have traders like yourself that are like, I don't even care about the directional edge. I'm just going to sell theta all the time so I can go on my 14th vacation in the last 3 months. That was not a registered complaint. It was just kind of a registered complaint. But you get my point, right? So
Yep.
so in terms of the theta here, you can always do a theta trade. There's no doubt about that. And when you're looking at Discover here, you're basically saying you break 110. If you break 110, that's a directional opportunity. Financials have been pretty decent. If we get a little bit of confirmation, I was typing in YouTube there. If we get a little bit of confirmation on a breakout of 36 on finance, probably Discover above 110 looks really, really, really good. Now, I would
Mm-hmm.
have to, is Discover the best of the bunch? Probably not. There's
Yeah.
other financial stocks that are setting up a little bit better, but that's what you're looking at from a directional perspective. You're saying finance get above 36, Discover get above 110. Let's go. Right? You got a nice little breakout with some tailwind, given the fact that the sector and the industry is doing it. And so directional, you're looking at now. Obviously, you're not looking at directional on Discover. Now on Discover, you could certainly just go ahead and write another covered call if you wanted to write a covered call on Discover. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're probably looking at bull put spread here. If this is not an investment already, you're not looking at, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
let me do a covered call here on Discover. And so if you're just looking at this fresh eyes, you're probably looking at it from a bull put perspective. And so if I come over here to the option chain on Discover, and let's just go to where it says Delta Gamma Theta Vega, and we just come out to, I'll just go 24 days out. Let me just check liquidity very quickly here. Liquidity, I mean, you can definitely do it. There's no doubt about that. Let me look at the weekly option here on the 31-day option very quickly. Yeah, you're probably doing a monthly. You're probably relegated to monthlies here on any type of spread. And so basically what you're saying on your spread is you pick a support level you're comfortable with. Let's just say the significant whole number of $100. And you
Mm-hmm.
say, can I sell a spread underneath 100? Well, 100 has a 20 delta. It's a 24-day contract. We could sell the 100 by 95, for example, just that 20 delta contract, 80% probability, probably high 60 some probability of touch. You widen that out to a 5-point spread, because $1 spreads aren't good. You widen that out to a 5-point spread, and you get 62 cents for 20 delta. Your ROID isn't the best, but again, you're talking about Discover. And
Yep.
so it's definitely doable. You're above 10%. Your ROID's going to be, off the top of my head, it's probably going to be around 65 to 68% on ROID. And if you're 65 to 68% on ROID, I would go back to the drawing board. I'd go find a
Mm-hmm.
different credit spread, quite frankly. And you could say, well, let me sell a deeper one. But even if you sell a deeper one, you're going to be minimized on the cash flow. And so you just, to be successful on this credit spread, you're going to have to sell a higher delta and get a little bit less cash flow. And by the way, if anybody doesn't know what ROID is, it is an amazing indicator that I created 10 years ago to help people understand the quality of credit spreads. Because quite frankly, people get lazy with their credit spread analysis because it's a theta trade. And so because they have range and probability, they just think every credit is created identically. It's not. Probability plays a massive role, if not the number one role in all trading analysis. And so what Roy does, it takes both the return and the probability, and it gives metrics based on with the combination of ROI and the probability, which is delta, ROI divided by delta, that is ROID. So I take the ROI projected divided by the delta probability. And then what I did was create ranges to where those would be a good credit versus a bad credit. And so it would be in the range of it's okay, but it's on the lower end of that. And when you're looking at Dick's here, post earnings here, and M, I know you already have Theta, so maybe my bias is adding a little bit of delta here. But I just like the potential of, especially with what retail's doing here today. You know, even some reports you would look at as lukewarm were pretty decent from a price movement perspective. The market's a little bit favoring the retail space right now. Consumer discretionary being held back, but that's not on the backs of the apparel groups. That's on the backs of Amazon and Tesla primarily. And so I do like Dick's here because of the cleanliness of the chart here. And so I just think for the potential Santa Claus coming to town Cyber Monday, you know, and officially Santa Claus rally is the last 5 trading days of the year and the first 2 trading days of January. We're still a month and some away from the actual Santa Claus rally, but this is Santa Claus season. and that happens after Black Friday. And so that's coming up just in about a week from now. And we're sitting at a potential breakout that is pretty clean on Dick's, that if we do get an upward movement in price coming in through the end of this week, coming into next week, you're talking about a breakout coming into Santa Claus season. And I just can't discount that. If the Discover ROI was better and the delta was lower, I maybe, but no, there's significantly good credits out there. There's significantly good ROI divided by delta, i.e. ROID. And so I just think that's a very, very average bull put spread, quite frankly, on Discover. It doesn't mean it's not going to work out. It's just average. Here, I like the breakout. I like the potential for the combination of retail picking up coming into Christmas. And I like more than anything, I just like the cleanliness of the analysis. If you don't get your upward moving price, you're not doing anything. You're basically saying breakout or nothing. And so I would take the Dick's potential breakout over the bull put on Discover.